Let me ask you something. When you woke up this morning, did you make your bed? Not because someone was coming over, not because you had to, just because. Probably not, right? Here's another one. When you brushed your teeth today, did you actually brush them for 2 full minutes like you were supposed to? Or did you do that 30-second rush job where you're already thinking about the next thing? One more. The last email you sent at work, did you reread it, check for typos, make sure it was clear, or did you just fire it off and move on? I'm not judging. I'm asking because I want you to think about something. When did you stop caring about the small things? There's a concept in Japan called Shokunin Katagi. It means the craftsman spirit, the obsession with doing everything with excellence. Not just your main work, not just the things people see, everything. Because here's the truth most people never figure out. You don't get to turn excellence on and off like a switch. If you half-ass the small things, you're going to half-ass the big things. Guaranteed. Today, you're going to learn why a sushi chef spends 10 years just learning to make rice, why a janitor in Osaka cleans toilets like he's performing surgery, and why the way you tie your shoes actually matters more than you think. But first, I need to know, are you someone who does things right, or are you someone who does things fast? Be honest with yourself, because that answer determines everything. Before we go deeper, hit subscribe, and here's why this matters. If you're the type of person who skips ahead, who scrolls comments while watching, who half listens, you're proving my point right now. Excellence is not something you do, it's something you are. So commit. Stay with me for the next 25 minutes. No scrolling, no multitasking, just focus. Drop a comment right now. What is one small thing you know you half-ass every day? Be real, because recognizing it is the first step. I'm grateful you're here. Let's get into it. 3 years ago, I was in Tokyo for work, staying in a cheap business hotel near Shibuya Station. Every morning, I would take the subway. Packed trains, millions of people, chaos. But here's what blew my mind. The bathrooms were spotless. Not pretty clean, not acceptable for a public bathroom, spotless. No trash on the floor, no water on the counters, mirrors, perfect. Sinks, shining. Even the grout between the tiles looked intentional. And I thought, man, they must clean these things constantly. Then one morning I saw him. An older man, maybe 65, 70, janitor uniform, white gloves, and he was cleaning a bathroom like he was preparing it for surgery, not just wiping, inspecting. He would spray the mirror, wipe it, then step back, look at it from an angle, check for streaks, find one, wipe it again. The sink? He cleaned the faucet, then the base, then the drain cover, then inside the drain. Then he cleaned the space between the tiles with a toothbrush. I stood there watching for probably 5 minutes, and I realized something that made me uncomfortable. This man cared more about cleaning a public bathroom than I cared about most things in my life. Here's what got me. He wasn't doing it because someone was watching. He didn't know I was there. He was doing it because that's who he was, a shokunin, a craftsman, and his craft was keeping that bathroom clean. It wasn't beneath him. It wasn't just a job. It was his work. And he was going to do it with excellence because anything less would be disrespectful. Disrespectful to who? To himself. Now, let me ask you, when is the last time you did something that well? When is the last time you cared that much about anything? Not because someone was watching, not because you'd get credit, just because you couldn't let yourself do it any other way. Can't remember? Yeah, me neither. Not before I saw that janitor. That moment changed something in me. Because I realized I had been living my whole life on good enough to pass, good enough to not get called out, good enough to get by. And good enough is how you wake up at 40 and realize you've never been excellent at anything. Because excellence is not about talent. It's not about having some special gift. Excellence is a decision you make every single time you do anything. And most of us decided a long time ago that we're okay with mediocrity. Okay. Story 2, and this one is going to piss some people off. You've probably heard about sushi apprenticeships in Japan, how they take forever, how you spend years just watching before you're allowed to touch fish. Most people hear that and think, that's insane. Just teach me the technique and let me practice. But here's what you're missing. They're not teaching you technique. They're teaching you reverence. There's a famous sushi chef in Tokyo, Jiro Ono. You might have heard of him. His apprentices spend 10 years learning to make rice. 10 years. Not cooking fish, not knife skills, rice. And people think that's stupid. It's just rice. You boil it. How hard can it be? That's exactly the problem, that attitude. How hard can it be? Let me tell you what those 10 years are actually teaching. Year 1 and 2, you wash rice every day. You learn how the grains feel, how water interacts with them, how temperature changes texture. Year 3 and 4, you cook rice. You learn how heat works, how timing works, how the smell tells you when it's ready. Year 5 and 6, you season rice. You learn how vinegar integrates, how salt balances, how sugar opens flavor. Year 7 and 8, you make sushi rice. You learn how to cool it, how to handle it, how to make every grain perfect. Years 9 and 10, you serve sushi rice to customers. And after 10 years, the rice you make is so good, people close their eyes when they taste it. Now here's the real lesson. Those 10 years are not about rice. They're about learning that nothing is beneath you. Because if you can't make perfect rice, the simplest, most basic element, how are you going to handle tuna that costs $10,000? The rice is the test. The rice asks, are you someone who takes pride in the foundation, or are you someone who rushes to the glamorous part? Most people fail that test every day. They want the title without the work, the outcome without the process, the recognition without the reps. They want to be the head chef, but they won't wash the rice. And that's why most people never become excellent at anything. Okay, let's bring this home, because you're probably thinking, cool stories, but I'm not a janitor or a sushi chef. How does this apply to me? Everything you do is practice for everything else you'll do. Read that again. Everything you do is practice for everything else you'll do. The way you make your bed trains your brain for how you'll handle a project at work. The way you answer emails trains your patience for how you'll handle difficult conversations. The way you clean your kitchen trains your attention to detail for how you'll approach your goals. You think these things are separate? They're not. Your brain doesn't have a switch that says, now I'm going to be excellent and now I'm going to be lazy. You have patterns, habits, defaults, and whatever pattern you practice most, that is who you are. If you practice cutting corners on small things, you'll cut corners on big things. If you practice doing things right even when no one is watching, you'll do things right when everyone is watching. You don't rise to the occasion, you default to your training. Let me ask you something personal. How is your car? Is it clean? Or is there trash in the back seat, coffee stains on the console, receipts stuffed in the cup holder? How is your desk? Organized or covered in papers, old coffee cups, cables everywhere? How is your phone? Do you have 47 unread text messages, 12,000 unread emails, apps you downloaded once and never use? I'm not saying you're a bad person if these things are messy. I'm saying that mess is training you to accept mediocrity. Every time you see that trash in your car and think, I'll clean it later, you're training yourself to procrastinate. Every time you leave your desk messy, you're training yourself that good enough is acceptable. Every time you ignore those unread texts, you're training yourself that following through doesn't matter. And then you wonder why you can't finish projects, why you can't stick to goals, why you start things and never complete them. It's because you've been training for that your whole life. In Japan, a shokunin is not just someone who is good at their craft, they're someone who embodies their craft. A shokunin carpenter doesn't just build houses, he sees wood as sacred. Every cut is intentional, every joint is perfect. He wouldn't dishonor the tree by doing sloppy work. A shokunin potter doesn't just make bowls, she studies clay for decades, understands how it breathes, how it changes. Each bowl is a conversation between her and the material. The craft becomes part of their identity. And here's the hard question. What is your craft? Not your job title, not what you studied in school. What do you do so care, so attention, so pride that it's become part of who you are? For most people, the answer is nothing. And that's the problem. We live in a world that celebrates multi-passionate and keeping your options open and not putting all your eggs in one basket. But you know what that actually creates?
people who are mediocre at everything. The Shokunin philosophy says the opposite. Pick something, one thing, and become undeniable at it. Not because it's your passion, not because it's trendy, because you decided this is my craft, and I will not dishonor it with sloppy work. Maybe your craft is being a father. Okay, be a Shokunin father. Show up every single day. Be present. Be intentional. Be the father your kids don't have to recover from. Maybe your craft is teaching. Be a Shokunin teacher. Know your material inside and out. Care about every student. Make every lesson as good as you can make it. Maybe your craft is writing code. Be a Shokunin developer. Write clean code. Comment everything. Make it elegant. Do work that other developers look at and respect. Pick your craft, then honor it. But here's the catch. You can't honor your craft if you don't honor the small things around it.
A Shokunin carpenter keeps his tools immaculate, because respecting the tools is respecting the craft. A Shokunin chef keeps his kitchen spotless, because a dirty kitchen produces dirty food. The way you treat the small things reveals how much you actually respect the big thing. So if you say your craft is entrepreneurship, but your finances are a mess, your inbox is chaos, and you are always late to meetings, you are lying. You don't respect the craft. You just like the idea of it. The Shokunin test is this. Would you do your work the same way if no one ever saw it? If the answer is no, you are not a Shokunin. You are a performer. And performers quit when the audience leaves. Shokunin keep going because the work itself demands it. All right, here's what I want you to do. And I mean actually do, not just nod along and forget. For the next 30 days, pick one small thing you are going to do with complete excellence. Not a big thing, not launch a business or get in shape. One small thing. Examples. Make your bed every morning. Hospital corners, pillows arranged. Perfect. Or wash your dishes immediately after eating. Every dish, every time. Or answer every email within 24 hours. Proofread. Clear subject lines. Go to bed at the same time every night. No excuses. Or do 10 push-ups every morning. Full range of motion. No shortcuts. One thing, 30 days, no exceptions. And here's the rule. You have to do it like a Shokunin. Not fast, not good enough, with care, with attention, with pride. If you make your bed, make it so well that you would be proud to show a stranger. If you wash dishes, wash them so clean they shine. If you answer emails, answer them so clearly the person doesn't have to ask a follow-up question. Do it right, every single time. And here's what's going to happen. Week 1, it's going to feel stupid. You're going to think, why am I spending 5 minutes making a bed no one will see? Week 2, it's going to feel hard. You're going to want to skip, to rush, to make excuses. Week 3, it's going to feel normal. Your brain will stop fighting it. It will become automatic. Week 4, it's going to feel good. You'll start noticing. When you do one thing with excellence, everything else improves. Because excellence is contagious. When you make your bed with pride, you notice the clothes on the floor, so you pick them up. When you wash dishes immediately, you notice the dirty counter, so you wipe it. When you answer emails promptly, you notice the other things you have been procrastinating on, so you handle them. One small act of excellence creates a cascade, and after 30 days, you won't be the same person. Not because you mastered some skill, but because you trained your brain that you are the type of person who does things right. And once your brain believes that, everything changes. So let me bring this full circle. That janitor I saw in Tokyo, he probably doesn't make much money. He probably doesn't get recognition. Most people walk past him and never notice. But he knows something most people never learn. Your work is your signature. Every bathroom he cleans is a statement. This is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I am capable of. And at the end of his life, when he looks back, he won't have regrets, because he never cut corners. He never said good enough. He showed up every day and did his work with pride. Can you say the same? Shokunin Katagi, the craftsman spirit, is not about being perfect. It's about caring. Caring about the details, caring about the process, caring about doing things right even when no one is watching. Because here's the truth. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you're lazy with the small things, you'll be lazy with the big things. If you're excellent with the small things, you'll be excellent with the big things. There's no in-between. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one small thing, 30 days, excellence, and then come back in 30 days and tell me what changed. Not what you accomplished, what changed in you. Because that is what this is really about. Not becoming a master craftsman, becoming someone who respects themselves enough to do things right. So drop a comment. What is your one thing for the next 30 days? Commit publicly, because accountability matters. And remember, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Until the next video, honor your craft, whatever it is.